China's state broadcaster CCTV says it will no longer air two NBA preseason games set to be played in China this week. In a statement, CCTV indicated the decision was prompted by NBA Commissioner Adam Silver's remarks on Monday supporting Rockets general manager Daryl Morey's right to free speech. You may remember last week Morey tweeted support for anti-government demonstrations in Hong Kong. A few hours ago, Silver spoke again in Japan and was asked about the growing controversy.
We are not apologizing for Daryl exercising his freedom of expression. I regret, again, having communicated directly with many friends in China, that so many people are upset, including millions and millions of our fans. I don't come here sort of either as the commissioner of the NBA as an American, certainly to tell others how they should run their governments. I think, though, at the end of the day, though, I am an American, and there are these values that are deeply rooted in the DNA of the NBA, and that includes freedom of expression for our employees. And I'm hoping that together Yao Ming and I can find an accommodation.
The Nets and Lakers set to square off in Shanghai on Thursday, and that's where we find our Rachel Nichols. And Rachel, I know that you spent time with the Nets players today. What are they saying about the growing controversy between the league and the Chinese government?
Yeah, Elle, you heard Adam Silver there reference Yao Ming. Yao is actually now the chairman of the Chinese Basketball Association, and Silver shared with everyone that Yao is, quote, extremely hot about what has transpired over the past week, and he's not the only one. The Nets were supposed to be at an NBA Cares event today here in Shanghai. They were supposed to dedicate a learning center and an elementary school, and instead that was canceled by the Bureau of Education. So instead we caught up with some of the Nets players at the team hotel, and I asked them just what was it like to be in the middle of all of this. DeAndre Jordan told me, and this probably isn't a big surprise, guys, that he knows people are going to want them to come out and take a stand here, but he does not feel that qualified to comment on a geopolitical situation that's taking place halfway around the world from where he lives and is very nuanced. The guys just told me they'd like to play some basketball here, and we will have to see if that actually happens. The Lakers arrive tonight. They have an NBA Cares event scheduled for tomorrow. We're waiting to find out if that's going to go forward, and we're waiting to find out if the game itself is going to go forward. On Thursday, Adam Silver is going to meet with some officials here in Shanghai tomorrow, and we'll find out if they're going to play ball.
Rachel Nichols has the latest on this developing story, a story that we'll have for you here on Get Up and through all of the ESPN platforms. Thanks, Rachel. Coming up right here on Get Up, Zion taking flight. We've got his first NBA dunks from a fantastic debut in Atlanta.
Glad you guys are here with us. I'm joined by Hall of Famer Kevin McHale, who also happens to be a three-time NBA champ with the Boston Celtics, and Dennis Scott, shooter from distance.
Leave it.
Excellent. Glad you guys are here. I've been waiting to do this with you, Kevin, because obviously it's the Celtics. So we're going to just dive right in. We talked a little bit. Kemba, Kyrie, which one's better? Is it an upgrade? Is it not? What's going to happen? Well, here's a side-by-side comparison. Their league rankings in these categories from last season looks glaring when you look at it this way.
Yeah, but you look at that last statistic right there. Who was more efficient in games and helped you win more? Kyrie Irving is a tremendous player. Don't get me wrong; it didn't work in Boston. Now you can say all you want about why it didn't work. It did not work there, and it was funky last year. It was funky from the start, and it was funky at the finish, and nothing changed in that thing. So, is Kemba going to be a better fit? Maybe. But I'm a big Kyrie fan, but it did not work there for whatever reason. And we'll discuss the reasons later. But a good pickup by Danny getting Kemba after they lost Kyrie.
Well, Kemba Walker told our own Kristen Ledlow on why he chose the Celtics. Let's listen.
The organization itself, one of the best ever. So many championships. And, I think when everybody thinks of, the Boston Celtics, they think of, a winning culture, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to be a part of a consistent winning culture, and that's what I wanted to be a part of. Something really special, and Boston is perfect. It's a sports town. They love basketball. The fans love, guys who compete each and every night, and I just think I fit perfect with that mold. So, I'm excited to finally get things started and. Get it rolling in here in Boston.
Well, you heard Kemba Walker talk about the winning tradition, right, of the Celtics and how he hasn't been able to experience that. So I went and looked up some numbers. Kemba Walker as a player against the Boston Celtics for his career, he was 9-20. Last 3 seasons, all 3 All-Star years for Kemba Walker, he was only 2-9 against the Celtics. Do you think he's excited to wear the green now?
Oh, yes, he's super excited. He hit around on the head because he's always been on the losing end because when you're the best player, K-Mac, you're going out every night, being an All-Star. Kemba felt like he was by himself with the Hornets. Now he's coming to a winning tradition. He has Brown and Tatum. Hopefully Gordon Hayward can get back to his, top-notch basketball ways we know he can be. And Kemba's saying, finally, I'm bringing some more talent to the war with me to try to win more ball games. So he's super excited to be in a winning culture and a winning franchise.
As good as Kyrie Irving was, or still is as a player, Kevin, is this an upgrade when you add Kemba Walker to that locker room?
Oof, time will tell. If you just look at it from just a strict talent standpoint, I would say no. And I like Kemba Walker, but Kyrie Irving is special. But, man, it did not work. I can keep on telling you, it didn't work. So you can get into why it didn't work. That's like 2 people who get married, and you say, what a perfect marriage. And a year later, they're divorced and they hate each other. This one looked like a perfect marriage. It wasn't a perfect marriage. And it didn't work. So is it an upgrade? It's hard to say. I want to see Kemba out there with Brown, with Tatum, with Hayward, with all these guys and how they mesh because they've got a lot of similar players that we'll talk about later as far as when you talk about not just Kemba, but about the Celtics in general.
I think it's a different style, Steph. Now when you walk in that locker room, people are going to see the glaring difference. Because let's face it, Kyrie come in there being a champion and all those type of things and figure like, I'm going to help you guys get to where you need to be. Well, that leadership's different, where Kemba's going to come in and say, guys, how are we going to win together? How are we going to get to the next level? Yeah. And I think that's what the Celtics see right away.
So you might say the chemistry's better, but is it going to equate to wins on the floor?
Right.
That's all that matters.
Exactly.
Like you can have a bunch of guys that love each other, and they might suck.
Right.
So it just doesn't matter. You got to win basketball games. And so let's. There's a lot of wait and see for the Celtics team this year for me.
I've always felt that chemistry is one of the more underrated components of a successful team. So we'll find out. It may not be an upgrade talent or skill-wise, but I think the locker room impact will show and tell the long-term story. All right, let's see who else they've got on tap. This roster for the Celtics is loaded, as we know. Jason Tatum. Not going to miss him. That's the title. Will he or won't he? These are numbers with and without Kyrie Irving from last season. What jumps out at you?
How many of those games did they win? That's what jumps out at me because, you got to try to win basketball games. And at the end of the day, Tatum's a really good player, and he's got to take a big jump. Last year was kind of a disappointing year. I thought Tatum took too many bad shots last year. I'm just be honest with you. He took so many damn contested fadeaway shots from 18 feet with 12 or 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Those are the shots you take with 3 seconds on the shot clock because you have to get a shot up.
Right.
He took too many tough shots. His ability to go somewhere with the dribble was better than I thought it was when he came out. And he's got to get back to doing that and being more efficient. If you're going to be a top player on a championship caliber team, you had better be efficient. You couldn't be what he was last year. I know that. So Tatum's got to improve.
I agree with you, K-Mac, and I put more pressure on Brad Stevens in this situation now because you got a guy likes to put the ball on the floor. Jaylen Brown likes to put the ball on the floor. Kyrie likes to put the ball on the floor. Kemba likes to put the ball on the floor, too. So which one of these guys are willing to sacrifice their game and say, you know what? Situation, I got to be a catch-and-shoot guy because my other 2 guys are putting the ball on the floor. Now, how's the defense going to stretch if nobody's knocking down jump shots? So to your point, K-Mac, Tatum, we know you can put the ball on the floor, but sometimes give the ball up, let someone else create, and you be ready to catch and shoot. I think it makes the team better.
Playing off the catch is such a huge thing. They all play off the dribble. But here's the difference. Off the catch, as the ball comes to me, I'm immediately going to shoot, I'm going to drive, or I'm going to swing it to you.
Right.
They dribble the ball between their legs and go backwards. Right. 4 of the guys do. I'm like, ugh. That is like the worst thing you can do.
Right.
And I'm not sure where that drives me bananas. Right. That is the worst thing you can do. And they got a boatload of guys that do that. Brad Stevens is going to have a practice where, hey, look, fellas, nobody's going through their legs backwards when they catch the ball. Everything is downhill. Everything is catch and shoot. Everything is playing off the catch. Don't play off the dribble. You mentioned the 4 guys that play off the dribble.
Right.
Ooh. All right.
Well, Jason Tatum is probably due for a breakout season. We all were expecting it to be his sophomore year because of how he played in the playoffs after his first year. He did play on Team USA, suffered that injury early on, but I still feel like that experience could be impactful, having the experience of playing for Coach Popovich, being around other great players. Yeah. How will that affect his game for this season?
I think it should elevate his game, Steph, along with his confidence. But once again, and Brad, you know how much I love you, but it's still put on Brad to make sure he's in good situations. Jason, I'm getting you off the wing. I'm putting you in the post these next 4 possessions. Yeah. Now you're going to attack that foreman. There's not too many big forwards that's going to be able to stay in front of him. Right. So now I say, Coach, put this young man in better situations so he can be successful and be more efficient, to your point, K-Mac.
I'd like to see him find some spots on the floor that are his spots. Like, I'll go back to Kawhi Leonard, okay? Kawhi Leonard got the ball. Who was ever guarding him? He had a smaller guy. He took 2 dribbles, got between the dotted line and the free throw line, rose up, knocked it down. He got to his spot off the dribble, and he took the shots he wanted to take. I see Jason Tatum taking too many shots the defense wants him to take. He didn't. As he shot those shots, I'm going, good defense. Right. As a defender, you're saying, I'm getting this guy to take bad shots. He's got to get spots on the floor, and Brad can help him where he's going to get his shot. And he's going to go to a spot, rise up, and shoot the ball. He can go by big guys. He can shoot over smaller guys. He's got a unique skill set. But again, it gets back to efficiency. You got to be way more efficient. And you're right. He needs spots on the floor where you can get him the ball and say, go to work.
Well, this is just the tip of the iceberg as it relates to the Boston Celtics. Their roster is fairly deep. Gordon Hayward is someone who